everybody. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and a build update of the 32 Ford 5-window coupe 2-in-1 kit from Revell. I got a lot done. I apologize that it's been a while since I've done an update, but I've been busy trying to get this engine built. And I did a build video of this engine that it'll take me a while to get it all put together, and it's a long one, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to show everybody how I do it because people have been asking, how do you do it? So I did it. Let me show you what I got done here. I just finished making the alternator bracket. I left the alternator chrome, but I did highlight it with Tamiya's panel liner. As a matter of fact, I highlighted the entire engine transmission with Tamiya panel liner just to pop out some of the details that get hidden with just a massive blob of Chrysler orange. Touched up the little bolts and stuff to make it look good. I ran my spark plug lines down this way and dropped them around on both sides. I've seen a lot of pictures where they have actually a block, like a channel running to cover these up, and then they all come up from underneath. But I was not going to go that route. I couldn't even see myself trying to make it that way. The other thing I did is I got my vacuum advance. I put that on first before the carb wires, before the spark plug wires. I also made the linkage. It's not painted yet, but I got the linkage made for the carbs. And what I'm planning on is this will be your carb linkage and tie together. This will be where it pulls back to pull them back, and then the return spring goes from the back carb up and ties in to the bolt on the front of the upper carb. And I figured this is built in the garage, and it'd be like when I did my Firebird. You just have to make stuff to make it work, and that's what I'm doing here, and I think that came out pretty darn good. So there's the engine. I did put the starter in place. It fits. The headers don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the engine in the body or in the frame, and then I'm going to run the headers up to it, and then I'm going to have to do some fill work on the top of the headers because they're going to gap out. I know it, and I'm going to use Mod Podge for that. That way it'll be flexible, and I'll still be able to paint it with the the chrome silver. I'm not going to even try to do that with Maltile, but it'll be all right. I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But both sides, I added the Fram oil filter on there and touched it with panel liner, which made it look pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. So there's the engine. And next thing I did was my tires. I scuffed them up real good. Those rims are kicking, man. I love them. I almost wanted to do white walls on these. And then when I got the rims on there, I thought, man, that'd just take away from those rims. I scuffed them up using a cheapo sanding pad that I got somewhere for God only knows how much. And all you do is you just take it and run it around them like that until they're scuffed up. There was no seam on here. There was just the little part that you nub off the tree. So these went pretty easy. And I love the looks. Duke's happy with them. Chandler doesn't care. They're not engine. I put the radiator on the housing, and I put the fan in there because I just wanted to. I just got done putting Tamiya panel liner, the dark gray, that I don't use a whole lot, but when I thought I could use it in here, I put it in between these to lighten that up a little bit and give it a little bit of texture. Then I went through with the silver pen, just a silver pen I got at Hobby Lobby. It came in a pack of like 4 of these and 4 gold ones. And I don't remember how much, but I do know I got them at Hobby Lobby. And they're doing me very well. They're holding up, and they look great. I'm able to get on the side, so when you look down at it this way, you can see them too. which is great. And that just goes to show how good the detail is in this kit. So there's that. My front end, I glued on my rotors. I drilled the holes for the brake lines on that. I did the same with the back. Remember I showed you that this thing had airbags. So I ran the airbags. Now check this out. I got a lot done on here. My exhaust is in. I used, where is it? I left it out so I could remember to show you. X10 gunmetal on the inside. And that left it metallic, but it gave it that exhausty look. And then I just took a real fine pencil and I went around the outside just here and there to make it look good, because I'm not going to rust this out at all. I want to leave it that way. I nicked my paint just a little bit, and that was my fault. I'll be able to hit that with a brush, and it'll be good as gold. Duke, you're having a problem today. I ran my fuel line up this side, and it's running wild right now because, like I said, I want to tuck that up around the engine, bring it around, and tie it into the back carb. My brake, I don't know if you can see it, but the brake line, I have an expansion here, and I ran it up the frame, and I drilled a hole in the frame here, and I ran it out the side. I drilled a hole on this side, and this is just one piece that goes over and is glued in with that piece. And when I'm done talking to you, I'm going to tap that with just a little bit of my Mod Podge. I use that stuff a lot. And then when that dries, I'm going to hit it with my copper, and it'll look like a fitting. So the backside, hard to see, a lot of detail in here that just disappears, but I ran the brake lines down around and underneath, and they come in and they tie into the rotors on both sides. The other thing I did, which is almost impossible to see, is I took the airbags and I added a line to them, and I ran them into the trunk on both sides, and I painted the airbags rubber black, which is XF85 on Tamiya's thing. I took my silver pen and I touched all the bolts on here, and then I took the gold and I made a rear end seal. That Molotov pen did a really good job of chroming up that pumpkin rear end or back end. It looks great. I was thinking still I'm going to leave a little bit of the silver going into the rotor, and then I'm going to paint a length of that with the Tamiya XF85, that rubber black, because, you know, they're going to move up and down, and they should have a little bit of rubber or stainless, the steel braided line. But I want to just do it the rubber, just to give it a little break in color and add a little bit of looks to it. The other thing, now both of those, the brake lines and the fuel line, I drilled a little hole in my frame to run them through here. And that's kind of a pain because you got to come at an angle this way because this is in the way. And then I had to feed it this one, you know, opposite, and it's, talk about a tongue twister. But I got them in there, and then you see there's a bigger hole in here. And so far, I'm still going to go for it. Let me show you something really cool here. Here's my headlight, and I'm going to mount the headlight straight on to my fender. So I drilled a hole in the fender, and these are going to go through the hole. If I can get it in there. Through the hole, like that, and I'll get it to where it lays flat and true, and then I'll glue the wire from the bottom side. And then I'm just going to run that wire. I'm just going to run that wire right along this side and here, and then I'll run it underneath through the bigger hole I drilled right here, along the side of the exhaust, and right down into the trunk on this side. This one, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to just run it along here. And once this breaks into here and somewhere where I can take this apart, I'll solder on some of that that 32 gauge magnet wire, and I'll run those two down, and those will be what run in the trunk. But check this out. I tested this a little bit ago. And what I did is I drilled a hole right where the mount should be. And I ran the LED down through this way, pushed it in there, and I super glued it in. So I got a little test thing set up here with a resistor. It's a 5-volt resistor, but I'm only running 3 volts. Let me show you how cool this looks. 50% chance. There we go. How about that? That's going to be so cool. And then in the trunk, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those T lights and gut it and use the switch and the battery holder, and I'll just mount that in the trunk, and I won't attach the trunk lid. So it'll just sit in there, turn it on and off, have an Air 2032 battery, and it's going to be cool. First time I ran LEDs into a car model. I've done a lot with my Star Wars model, but never with the car model. So, what else we got? That's it. That's enough. But that's it for right now. So, I'll move along. I want to get these fenders mounted so I can get those wires run. I need to get these figured out the length so I can solder the other wires to them and then run those back. And I'm going to make those a mile extra long just so they work out. But there we go. That's everything in a nutshell. I am Mark. This is Grandpa Mark's Hobbies. Thank you very much for following along. You all have a great day.